All right. Well, I'm just going to trust that this is working. Hey, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm joined by two incredible women who bring a wealth of heart and wisdom to the conversation. Sally Ann Kearns is a functional nutritionist, podcaster, and author who's passionate about helping people make empowered, informed choices for their health. Shelley Tunbridge is a wellness advocate, homeschooling mother, marriage celebrant, and art therapist. She's someone who truly lives consciously and supports others to rise through creativity and well-being. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Marnie Clark. I'm a 21-year breast cancer survivor and breast cancer coach since 2012. I draw from over 25 years of experience in the disciplines of natural healing and nutrition, aromatherapy, herbal medicine, energy healing, and bodywork. My passion is teaching and empowering others going through breast cancer how to heal and thrive. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we are conscious humans with a heart for helping others reconnect to their healing potential. So having said all of that, Sally Ann, would you like to take it on from here?
Absolutely. I mean, Marnie, you can probably appreciate, so thank you for having us here. And this is a conversation that really is a series of incidences and synchronicities that I wasn't really appreciating at the time. But this journey began with this technology, this light therapy technology, when we were praying for a solution to my husband's back pain. We had a farm at the time in Mudgee, and we had a 4 and a 6-year-old. We were older parents. We had chickens, sheep, bees. I was running a co-op, working full-time, studying. My husband was working full-time, and he couldn't move. And unbeknown to him at the time, but I'd actually had a previous partner suicide from back pain. So it really triggered a lot of fear in me, particularly considering that we were heavily relying on his income. And all the things that would normally work just weren't moving the needle. So Bowen, spinal flow, chiropractic care, the MRIs showed degradation in the lower back discs. And I was just thinking to myself, this is not what I had planned for this journey with this beautiful man and our family. And a girlfriend rang me up and she said, "Hey, something really exciting. You need to have a look at this." And I had so many tabs open. I was definitely not looking for something else to do. But we caught up for lunch, and she stood up in the cafe and she started kicking her leg out in the cafe. And I thought, "What are you doing?" She's like, "The most I need." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's gone." So she then proceeded to share with me about this incredible technology, and I felt so blessed. So this is essentially the X39. It is a light therapy patch about the size of should have some earlier, about the size of a small coin, I guess. It's hard to see it with the backdrop. And we put this on my husband, and his discomfort went from an 8 out of 10 in 6 hours to a 3 out of 10. I'm all about baselines, and as a practitioner, you kind of want to know where you're starting and where you're finishing to determine, is this something that is working or effective for my body? And that's the personal journey of healing, isn't it? Because what works for one person doesn't always work for another. And that's why, Marnie, you're so incredibly good at what you do, because you're not doing a one-size-fits-all approach. You're actually navigating the nuances and coaching people into an arena where they're really taking into consideration their bio-individuality, which I honor. And so I got curious about this technology. I went on a deep dive. 6 weeks in, I had a hemorrhoid postpartum, birthing my, at the time, 6-year-old. And I tried every single liver herb known to humankind. Like, this was something that it wasn't as though I didn't, work through this vascular pathway. And 6 weeks in, it got so bad that literally I couldn't sit down for a couple of days, and I was in agony. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to go and get this thing cut out. I'm going to have to go to a hospital. How incredibly embarrassing. And what surprised me next was an organic matter left my body whilst I was on the toilet. And I didn't recognize what it was, but it left, and the hemorrhoid left, and it never came back again. And that really made me get curious, because I changed nothing else. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. And the other thing that occurred a few months in was a ganglion cyst that I'd had on my finger. completely subsided and also never came back. And then at about the six-month mark, I noticed for the first time in my life the absence of anxiety. So I really knew that I'd already done the foundational work with my health. I'd already navigated what was inflammatory for my body. But what this did was it really took my healing to the next level. I had formerly a diagnosis of an autoimmune condition, but I have no symptoms and no pathology that now references that. So I guess it's hopeful in that we know that the human body, given the right conditions, wants to come back into homeostasis. We know that that's its quest, and that this journey of illness or disease is quite often the calling of the soul to say, hey, help, you're not listening. And so I'd had years of chronic illness, and by the time that this technology came across my desk, I was probably the healthiest I'd ever been. So I really didn't have a huge, for myself, I wasn't doing this for me. It was really a prayer answered for my husband. And then I passed the baton. I just kept sharing with people that I love. And it just so happened that Shelley was one of my best friends living out in Mudgee at the time, still my best friend. And but we've taken this journey together. So Shell, what's kind of happened for you?
Thanks, Sally Ann, and thank you for that beautiful intro, Marnie. And thank you for the opportunity to be here. Hello, everyone. Yes, so Sally Ann rang or told me about this technology. And again, I was 45 at the time, and I didn't have a whole heap of physical, like physically, I was pretty healthy. Mama with a 5-year-old. And I didn't really recognize that the technology was for me at the beginning. I grabbed the information and gave it to my close network of people that had some challenges with their health at the time. So yeah, there was an array of different things people were working with. So I got the technology for everyone else, as we often do. We get it for everyone else instead of ourselves. But I soon started to realize that, wow, this really is making some pretty big shifts. Not everyone has big shifts to start with, but there are, we call some people the one patch wonders, where they can have, like Sally Ann's husband, a shift that's recognizable pretty early on. So I was like, well, I need these. I'm going to just put them on and see what happens. So I popped them on, and day 3, I was driving down the highway, and I was like, who is that singing? And it was me. I was singing at the top, like joyfully, like joy coming out of me singing, and I was like, oh my gosh. And there was a whole process that has occurred, but I realized more recently that actually I was praying, like I was asking the universe, I was asking, God, please help me. Because what I was really, really struggling with at the time was mothering. I'm a very conscious, aware human, and I really wanted to parent in a way that would allow my child to be able to express her emotions, be able to move through life being held. And really, what was happening is my nervous system was in such dysregulation. I was often in a fight flight mode. And when she would have big emotions, I would just want to scream and run away. And I just could not be present in that because I was so on edge. And I know, over the last few years, I have conversations with many people, and many people their nervous system is dysregulated, particularly from all the fear and everything that's been thrown at us. And I know that we need to be in that parasympathetic, that rest digest state to heal. And we need to be in that state to create. And we are creator beings. So when the whole everyone's in that dysregulated state, it's very hard for us all to function well. And so I realize the biggest gift of these patches, and there have been many gifts, is my whole central nervous system has calmed. I am able to, of course, I sometimes get upset or I'm angry, and this is normal because it's giving me information about when my boundaries have been crossed, etc. But I'm not reacting like I used to. Our whole household is in flow. So I'm married. We've got our daughter who's now 7, and my husband wears the patches too. So our whole household is in flow. We're regulated. We're not reacting like we were. So this has been an incredible gift for my family, for my relationships. And also my low level anxiety disappeared. I didn't really realize that I was working with that until it's no longer there anymore. Until I sort of tune into somebody else that's working, that has that going on. I'm like, oh, that's how I used to feel like all the time. And then my hormones are balanced. My ADHD brain is balancing. I'm able to like start a task and complete the task. Um, my frozen shoulder stopped. I was waking up through the night with tingles and sweats. That's all gone. I have joy, and that's what I was praying for. I was like, help me. Don't want to be reactive, and I want more joy in our family because I was feeling so low. So for me, the biggest gifts have been joy. No more brain fog. It's almost, I could say, like I've woken up from a slumber and I've switched back on, and I am so excited to be alive again. I have sustained energy through the day. Life is great, and I'm able to function so well. And I feel so powerful and strong in myself. So I have a couple of photos actually. I don't know if you've got those there, Sally Ann. I took some photos. So I've been wearing these patches for 2 years. I took some photos prior to patching 2 years ago. And you can see there, there's me 2 years ago. And even you can see the hair, my grey hair, and my skin. It's a little bit hard. Like if you zoom right in, it's a bit hard on the screen sharing, but my skin is so much better. The deep grooves in the skin, the quality of the skin, it's brighter, the sunspots are fading, everything's shifting. And when you can see that on the outside of the body, that's an indicator of what's happening on a cellular level throughout the entire body. So not just on the surface, but on a cellular level. So this is incredibly exciting, and I am so grateful that this has come into my path, and I am actively telling everyone about it because it's really life-changing. And what I love about this technology is I'm a very conscious, here's my hands. I'm a very conscious, and my dog, dive bombing, he's with me all the time. But I'm a very conscious of what I put into my body. I'm very conscious of the food we eat. I make, I'm very aware of all of that, and make, good decisions for our family. And this technology, there's no stimulants, there's no chemicals, there's nothing going into the body. It's very empowering. What it's doing when you put the patch on, it's elevating your own body's ability to regenerate and to restore, and like Sally Ann, to come back to balance. So we don't know what experience each person will have. We're also uniquely different, but this is very empowering for the individual to pop the patch on and then to allow the body to do what our bodies know best to do, which is to come back to that state of homeostasis.
Yeah. So
let's talk about the technology a little bit. Tell us, whichever one of you wants to handle that.
I think we could both talk for hours on it, but I've got some slides here which might sort of high level prompt just in terms of what's available. And the other thought that I had, my computer's not playing very friendly today, and it's affecting my ability to concentrate, which is really frustrating.
So we have everyone so uniquely different as well. So that we've got testimonies from A to Z. Whatever you can think of, there's a testimony for it, because we're all so uniquely different. So our bodies, are empowered to restore balance. So whatever you can think of, they're life-changing.
So just obviously from a legal standpoint, we just got to cover one thing. So we're not, these experiences that Shelley and I have just shared there are personal stories, and they're for encouragement and inspiration only. We're not making any medical claims. I think we're here really in good faith to issue hope. I think anything that you're going to trial, particularly when you've had a chronic condition or a diagnosis, it's really important to reflect inwards and just be mindful around what could this be for me? And then if you have a care team, to actually just bounce it off them. But essentially what we're using is a form of light therapy. So just like our body goes out into the sun, and the frequency of light when it is exposed to our skin and our eyes, we start to metabolize the hormone vitamin D, and then that knows how to activate different mechanisms in the body. So these gorgeous little patches, which can be worn anywhere on the body, effectively do the same thing. I like to liken them to a teensy tiny little mirror that we're putting against our body. And then what it's doing is we are infrared beings, and it's reflecting our own light back to us. And when I hear myself say that, sometimes I'm like, that sounds a little crazy. But the results really speak for themselves. And I think so do the imagery. And that's where with pain, we often will recognize the absence of, because it's something that, you know, there's a discomfort, there's an ache, there's a pain. And so recognizing that it's no longer there is really obvious. Whereas the other changes to our skin, they're not overly obvious. So I'm just going to pop this guy. Sorry. I'm not used to using, I'm going to have to, so you don't have to be a tech genius to be able to share this technology. It's not showing that. So here we go. So it's an elevation, activation, and regeneration tech. And so what I love about it is that there's nothing kind of going into the skin. This is our inventor. He's a humanitarian, and he has over 200 patents. He specialized in age reversing in approximately 2008. His vision is for the world to heal. So he was working originally with the Navy SEALs, and what happened was 9/11 at the time, sadly. So the US government changed their funding focus to weapons, and the technology that he was developing was sort of put to bed, if you wish. And he really felt this compelling call that people need this. There's got to be someone out there that needs this. So he continued on further 10 years and $4.5 million US to really recognize clinically, to prove that this technology did what it said it would do. And so, as you can see here, we've got this patent. It was patented in 2020 for 20 years. So we have exclusivity of this technology for another 15 years. No one can duplicate it. And as we can see here, as a result of elevating the copper peptide, which is often called GHKCU, it includes an activation of stem cells and improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants. So why I like this is that we're not actually introducing anything foreign to the body. So nothing is going into the skin. But by the time that we're 30, only half of our stem cells are active. And this is when, for me, it was the sort of a peak of my chronic health. I really struggled in my 30s. And I kept going to doctors, and I was getting all these MRIs. I would get chronic debilitating migraines for days. And not one medical practitioner ever said, hey, did you know that by the age of 30, half of your stem cells are dormant? And by the age of 60, it's less than 10%. So we've sort of got this decline, I guess. You know, it's the aging funnel, and we try to do what we can to obviously master that through food and choices and lifestyle and environment. But this is something that we can do really simply to elevate our well-being. And so most people don't know about stem cells and that they're going dormant. And so how does it work? It's a proprietary form of light therapy. It's a patented nanocrystal technology, no drugs, chemicals, or stimulants. It reflects light to activate. It's non-transdermal, nothing's going into the skin, and it's not invasive. What we've witnessed now in Australia over the last 3 years nearly is all of these key benefits. So people are really recognizing that they're going to the gym and they've got more personal best. They're having more outputs and reduction in inflammation, an increase in stamina, energy, vitality, improved sleep, skin appearance, which you saw from Shelley's beautiful images. I wish I took more photos. And what I love as a practitioner is the restoration of skeletal and muscular conditions, because I really feel that you usually can approach one with a holistic strategy, but not the other. And the lack of brain fog. So literally like this kind of fog lifting, if you wish, so you can have that clarity. So these are some of the longer term results, and there's a lot more information available on thisisit.info.com. We've got hundreds of testimonies via category. There's doctors' panels and talks, and there's the inventor sharing how he got into this and how it works, the mechanism. So you can really do a deep dive there. But what I love is just the simplicity, because I don't know about you, but when I was in chronic health overwhelm, to think about some of the other strategies that I was given and protocols, they were a lot. You know, this supplement 15 minutes before meals on an empty stomach, this supplement, 10 minutes before bed. I mean, I felt like I was rattling, and it was hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And then in addition to that, I was spending thousands on testing, let alone if you're going through more aggressive treatment and you just don't feel yourself, because we just have no margin when we're reclaiming our health. What I love about this technology is the simplicity of it. It's peel the packet off, pop it on, put it near your toothbrush so you don't forget.
And I would say also, just with the heart reversing in age, on that last slide, my dad, he is 79, and so he's been wearing the patches, my mum and dad alongside myself, for about 2 years. But he was a builder in the 70s and 80s, didn't wear any sort of lung protection. So his breathing 2 years ago, before he started wearing the patches, was chronic. Like, he, to step up out of the chair, he'd be just to kind of walk across these steps. And he also had a heart injury in the last couple of years. So he's under the care of a heart specialist. So after about 18 months of wearing the patches, he went back to see his heart specialist, and the specialist was a bit bamboozled, because when he, on the screen, when he was hooked up to do the echo test and all the testing, his heart muscles are improving, and he's 79. And the heart is known in the main medical world to be the only organ that doesn't repair itself. So to see Dad's heart muscles repairing at age 79, when you'd only be expecting them to be deteriorating at that age, is phenomenal. So that does, there is a study in the back office, there is a study available around a group of people that wore the X39 for 6 months, and their average heart age reduced by 8 years. So that's incredible. And my dad doesn't need his breathing medication anymore. Nothing. And he was on a group of things. So he doesn't even need his puffer when he goes for a walk around the headlands. So it's phenomenal to see these kind of results when you've got people that you love and care for, myself, that in your loved ones as well, to see them thriving.
Absolutely. And that's essentially why we got involved. We love the simplicity. So you're wearing the technology for 12 hours during the day, you're having a little break, letting your body do what it needs to do. And the testimonies really are life-changing. So, there's an opportunity for people to reclaim their own health. There's a few different technologies in the range that have very specific outcomes in terms of inflammation, energy, detoxification, particularly if you've gone through, chemotherapy or radiation and you're out of that. You might really want to reset the body by sort of elevating that glutathione second phase detoxification pathway, really supporting removing what's left in the body now that you've got the all clear. It is contraindicated to use during current chemotherapy or radiation, but obviously before, in between, and after, there are some tools that you might want to bring in, and we can direct money to some resources there. And look, the thing that's so elegant about it is it's just so surprising. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. For me, the miracle of the hemorrhoid going away, there was a little bit of intensity there for a few days where I'll be fair, I didn't think that this was going to do anything. And I think majority of my health struggles came from a real disconnect between my physical body because of trauma. And so I was in a dissociated state to my physical self. For protection, it was a tool that was protecting me from feeling the feelings that were still kind of housed in my body. And so this, for the first time in my life, I'm now 44, and I'm starting to do some somatic practices, and I'm starting to just navigate that deeper level of emotional healing. And it wasn't available to me. I just didn't have the mental resource. But now I'm realizing that this is another layer I'm being invited to go on. And I love that about this technology, because when you feel better, you can do more, not from an active state, but just from a spirituality point of view. It's like that connectedness. So is there any questions, Marnie, that you have for us other than kind of what we've shared?
No, I think you've covered it really well, and the slides were really helpful to show just exactly what it is and how it works. Yeah, I'm really excited about this for my crowd, especially because we're always looking for things that help with stem cell renewal, healthy stem cell renewals, not the breast cancer stem cells, but the other good ones. So yeah, this is going to be a game changer, I feel, for a lot of people.
Yeah, and even if from a, I know for myself, if I'm having just a day of overwhelm, because sometimes we as we feel better, we take on more
Mm.
and we say yes to things if we haven't quite figured out how to establish our boundaries. And so there's one patch in the range, which is the Eon, and I will often just put it on my vagal nerve behind my ear, and it just just my parasympathetic nervous system just says thank you. And I'm able to gracefully respond, which I think is in this world where we have so many things sort of coming at us and so many demands, we want to show up in grace. We want to show up in our, in this grounded state of focusedness and love and connection, because that's essentially what it's all about. But sometimes it's really difficult to do that. So I love that I have these tools. Like when we went traveling, we used a few of the other technologies just to really support the exposure to EMF, etc. when you're on airplanes, because we went to Florida. And I guess the other part of this, and when I first got shared, when Misha first shared this with me, I was absolutely not looking for another thing to do, if I'm really honest. Like I had my nutrition clinic. We were about to build tiny houses on our tiny farm. We had chickens, bees, sheep, a co-op, 2 kids. We didn't need anything else to do. But what became abundantly clear to me was the simplicity of this technology, and it was just rolling out in Australia at the time. And I really felt this deep sense of obligation around, well, if I don't talk to people about this and I don't open my mouth and let adults make adult decisions about what's right for them and their families, then what hope do we have? And it's been nearly 3 years, and I have had no one in Australia approach me about this technology. No one, not one person.
Nobody
Which
knows about it.
just it's sort of like it's like a 20-year-old company that's just gone from with the invention of X39 in 2020, it's gone from a $20 million turnover company to nearly 1 billion. We're going to close out at this year because of this mechanism and how effective it's been. But it's a 20-year-old best kept secret. It's and we're just getting started. And so when I was more able to focus my attention on the opportunity here, which LifeWave offers us to create an income, should you choose to, I really started to look into that at about the 12-month mark. And as this financial flow kept coming back, which was great because it was paying for my 2 sleeves for my husband and I to use, I really started to take this more seriously. And for the last 24 months, both Shelley and I have linked arms on the east coast of Australia, and we've now got an emerging team in Perth where we actually will help you if you so choose, and we'll coach people to be able to create an income from this, even if it's just to get your own product cost neutral. So if that's something that resonates once you've used the technology and you put it on your body and you want to explore that a little bit more, then we would feel really blessed to partner with you too on that journey. The company loves sharing the science, and the future is huge. With
Yeah.
David Schmidt, he's nuts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's nuts.
He's got so many. He really it's the vision to heal humanity, heal the world, and he has. We were just listening to him speak over in Orlando a few months ago. And he's the most humble, beautiful, heart-led man, and he really wants to help us thrive at this time, despite everything that's going on and that's been thrown at us. And he says that he often he will wake up in the morning, he downloads a lot of the information. It's coming from very high places, is what he says, and for humanity at this time. And he's got all sorts of things coming out in the future to help us thrive. So it's an incredible vision that this company has as well. And yeah, just a beautifully led. He's the CEO of the company as well, which is what I really love. It's very aligned, and the leadership in the company is very heart-led and very beautiful. So I think it's an incredible gift to have this come into my world and to be aligned with something that I matches my hope to heal, well, to help others. So it's a great vehicle for that. And I actually wanted to just say, with wound healing, because I imagine that there may be some people that have to have some surgery or have things going with their bodies, and we have seen the most incredible fast sped results for wound healing, and the body. Once those stem cells are activated, they're really working quite like they're in rapid response mode. And so incredible results. We've got lots of images, incredible results with people having rapid healing, wound healing. And even my dog, he had to have surgery, and you can't even see where the stitches were anymore. Very quickly, there's no mark, nothing there. You wouldn't even know that something had happened there. So that's incredible. And I also wanted to point out that as our bodies are regenerating, and again, it's not the patch doing anything, it's our bodies doing the work here. The patch is a tool that's just elevating the body's ability to heal itself. So it's not the patch, it's our bodies doing the work. But as our physical body is elevated, people are experiencing elevation in all aspects of themselves. We have our friend Stephanie said it's like all of her fragmented parts have come home. So incredible on other levels, not just the physical levels here, but my intuition has been massively heightened. That's what I'm experiencing, and just it's like an elevation of frequency, and then attracting that into your world as well. So there's not just the physical; it's an incredible technology that's elevating all parts of ourselves. So just wanted to share that because I love that aspect about them as well.
That's
And
amazing.
that's just our experience, I'm not making claims, but this is the experience that we're seeing here. So
That's so good. That's so good. And we are a totality of body, mind, and spirit.
mm,
It's only, conventional medicine that tries to separate all of that. But yeah,
mm,
Yeah.
we are holistic beings, and it's good to see that there's something out there that can help us on all levels of ourselves. So, well, thank you, ladies. Uh,
Excellent.
this has been a really great conversation to have, and I hope that it piques the interest of my crowd and my people that I know they were all interested in hearing about this. So I will, just in case the technology has failed us and we're not live streaming, I will put this video onto my page so that and I'll also send it out in my newsletter too. So everybody will have a chance to have a look.
So when you so that this is the info.com website is fantastic, but it doesn't actually enable you to purchase. So you will need to get a link from Marnie. And then if you need help just being guided through where's the best place to get started, how many people are patching, what's my goals, then Shelley and I are here to really help you navigate that we're helping Marnie in this space because we want to back her. And we know that this is going to bring hope and healing. So from that space, if you need some guidance, you can reach out. Marnie is happy to loop us in on an email, and we will help you take those next steps, because sometimes these decisions can be a little bit overwhelming. And the company has some great integrity. So they're directly shipped from Melbourne in Victoria to our doorstep, usually within a week.
and in the US, the company is a US company, but the patches are made in Galway. So there's distribution centers all around the world. They're available in over 75 countries. So no matter where in the globe you are, they're probably available in your country. And yeah, we can help you navigate and work that out. So just don't hesitate to reach out if you've got questions or if you need some help to just simplify the process. We do it all the time, so we can make it very easy.
Right. Well, thanks for that.
Amazing.
Unless you have anything else to add, I think we're all good, and we'll finish it up for now.
Beautiful.
All right. Thank you,
Bless
ladies.
you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marnie. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Eliane.
Thanks for sharing all this important information.